Today I want to discuss the dilemma that is posed by the videos of the dancing nurses. You've all seen them, I imagine, by now. Pictures of, or rather, videos of nurses doing coordinated dances, doing flash mob style dances in the halls of hospitals, various, silly type dances of one kind or another, TikTok style dances, in coordination with their gear on, with their masks on, and so forth. Now, these images, these videos, have caused people some consternation and have provoked a backlash, which has provoked a counter backlash of sorts. The backlash comes from people who are saying, "What the hell? If conditions are that bad in the hospital, if what we're hearing about is true, and that these hospitals are apparently being stretched to maximum capacity by people suffering with this virus, then why do we see these happy nurses, these silly nurses, or hospital workers of different kinds, nurses or EMTs or whoever they are, maybe some of them doctors, I don't know. Why do we see them just behaving in this happy-go-lucky way? It suggests one of two things, and this is what I've heard, and I tend to agree. It suggests either that they aren't taking their role as healthcare providers that seriously during what's supposed to be a crisis, where they're overworked and so forth, or secondly, it suggests that they're not really overworked, that maybe they're underworked, maybe nothing much is really going on, and they're just kind of having fun. Now, the response, the counter backlash response to this response, is to say, "Oh no, they're just, they're just blowing off steam because they're immersed in so much stress right now that this is just their way of blowing off steam, it's almost proposed to be a kind of gallows humor, I guess. Although it doesn't really look like gallows humor to me. Gallows humor I can understand. If you're in the midst of a very grim situation and you in some way make light of it in order to, I don't know, come to terms with it psychologically, that's what gallows humor is useful for. Soldiers in wartime, taking a corpse of the enemy and making its mouth move or something like that, making it say silly things, or other sorts of activities. Maybe not quite that morbid, but still, it is gallows humor, so it is morbid. This is not gallows humor to me. These dances, this just seems like an extension of the TikTok the TikTokification of the internet. It's an extension of this "look at me do this dance" kind of thing, and it does come across as disrespectful in one way or another. Now the question is, how is it how are we to interpret it? If these hospital workers, who look so carefree, so gay in the old sense of the word, gay, as gay used to be used, just lighthearted. If they're doing this in the midst of people dying horribly around them, then it seems disrespectful to the the patients that they've been serving. On the other hand, if these workers are not truly being surrounded by people dying of this virus, and this has been what has been suggested by some citizen journalists who have gone around to hospitals and filmed the hospitals and found that there's nothing much doing there. Of course, there's supposedly some places that are hard hit, but the idea that the American healthcare profession is just stretched to its limits now because there's so many patients needing intensive care who have fallen ill with this virus, that doesn't seem to be the case. So anyhow, we come back to the dancing nurses. Again, the disrespect, the reason why people take it as disrespect is, could be one of two reasons. Could be that it shows this disregard for the seriousness of what they're doing. And number two, it seems to suggest a fraudulence, that if they really were hard at work, tending to these people who are fighting for their lives on respirators, on ventilators, and so forth, that if you were in the midst of that, if that's what you were seeing all the time, you wouldn't feel like doing coordinated dances, right? I mean, unless you just had lost your mind, or you were just a complete psychopath who doesn't care about human suffering around you, and nothing really quite adds up. So, I mean, and those watching this channel, if you've watched my recent videos, you know that already I'm a skeptic about this crisis, which I believe to be largely contrived, although I think the virus is probably real. But the lethality rate does not in any way justify the kind of response that has been commanded from our society and from nearly every country in the Western world, and in other countries as well besides the Western countries, which has been completely unprecedented. This kind of limiting of this shutting down of the economy, this taking away of the liberties that are guaranteed to us, not just by law, but that are endowed upon us by our Creator, if we believe the preamble to the Constitution. So, in any way you slice it, this dancing nurse, these dancing nurse videos, just don't square with the story that they're selling us. And I don't know how they fail to square. I don't know which one of the possibilities that I've put forth is the true one, but I'm going to say that whatever you propose doesn't work. At least none of the explanations that I've heard. None of the idea that, well, they're just blowing off steam. That's not how you blow off steam. If you're really stressed out, if you're really horrified, if you're surrounded by death, you don't blow off steam. You don't look like that. You don't look like these people look in these videos. They don't look to me like they're blowing off steam. They look like they're just being silly and having fun. Which again fails to square with the reality that they're selling us. So there you go. It's a conundrum. What do y'all think? Thanks for watching. Andy Nowicki, altrightnovelist.com. Andy Nowicki, lowstatusnovelist.blogspot.com.